Hello and welcome to another After Effects video lesson. Today I'm going to be animating a logo. Now when you animate a logo, it really depends on the logo on how you animate it, so this is just one way of doing it. Hope you enjoy it, and let's get started. First off, you're going to want to have a logo. Now I took the logo, it was a audio boost logo. I got it off a website called Brands of the World, where they have lots of different brand logos, all vector based EPS files, and I brought that into Illustrator and I separated it out into layers, and then I imported that into After Effects. Now I did another thing here is I put this A right there and enlarged it to fill that space. This is the actual logo, but I put the letter A right here because I want to use that in my animation. But depending on the animation you're doing, you may not even need this, because you're most likely not going to be animating the Audio Boost logo. So let's get started. First thing I want to do is clean up my workspace and only show the parts of the logo that I'm going to be animating right now, which is this big circle and these 4 circles as well. So I'm going to just hide the other pieces. First thing I want to do is I want this circle to kind of pop in, and that's easy enough to do. And what I don't want it to start right at the beginning, so I'll go forward a few frames. Option left bracket will cut my layer that I'm on. And I want to hit S on the keyboard for scale, keyframe that, but I want this to be at 110%. Go forward 2 frames and bring that back down to 100. And you can see it'll pop in. It's a really easy way of doing that. But before I get into the rest of this, I need to make sure that I want these little circles to rotate around, and in order to do that I need their anchor point to be dead center with that circle. So I am going to I'll start with circle 1, and I'll use the pan behind tool, which is the hotkey is Y on your keyboard, and I can then just take the anchor point and put it as close to center as I can. I will go in later and fix that. And then the last one will be right there. Now to make sure that these are dead center, what I'm going to do is highlight my big circle, and then Apple R on the keyboard will bring up my rulers. And what I'm going to do is put some markers in right on that center. It looks like I'm a little bit off. Now, when it'll be easier to center these anchor points. Now, since these anchor points are centered, when I use the rotation tool, it should stay. Okay, so I've got these centered. Now what I want to do, I'm going to hide those guides. Go ahead and hide the rulers. So that was Command : and Command R to hide the guides and rulers. So they all have the same center point, and when I rotate it, you can see it goes right around, which is pretty darn cool. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to have one circle pop up and then spin around, and it'll kind of leave a trail of circles behind it. So I'm going to turn off the other layers right now, just so I only have the one I'm working with, and it'll, after the big circle pops in, then this one's circle 1. Let's zoom in so we can see what we're doing. Is going to grow into that space. How am I going to do that? Well, I'll show you. First, I'll trim that layer. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move forward to where I want it to be. So 1, 2, 3, 4 frames later, I want it to look just like this. So I am going to keyframe the position and scale. I go back to where I want it to start, and I'm going to just grab the top of this and bring it down, and you can see it flattens out, and bring that up. And what will happen is it kind of grows. The only problem is it's white on top. So I want it to start black and then turn white. An easy way to do that is with a filter called Tint. So I select my layer, go to Effects, Color Correction, Tint. What Tint does is you can take the black levels and the white levels and map them to different colors. By default, it's going to map black to black and white to white. But what I want to do is at the beginning of this, I want to map white to black, keyframe that, go to the end, and then map the white back to white. And it'll change from black to white. It's a little bit too soon though. It kind of pops in and grows too fast. So I'm going to just grab this layer and move it. I also think that the time is a little bit too fast as well. So I'm going to extend this out another 4 frames. I'm going to highlight those 3 keyframes and just bring them across. So pop in. There, that's better. So now that I have that grown little pimple on this, I'm going to spin it around the big circle. And I want the other circles to be lined up with it. So I'm going to turn these back on, grab that circle, hit R, bring the rotation back -90 degrees. This circle, hit R, bring the rotation back -180. Circle 4, bring that back -270. So those are all now in the right spot. But I want them to start after that first circle grows on. So I will highlight the 3 layers on the keyboard, hold down Option, then left bracket, and it'll cut the layers. Or I can just grab them here and bring it across. Either way works. It's really up to you. Okay. So I want this circle right there to rotate around and then leave a trail of circles behind it. I'll take this circle, circle 1, bring up my rotation, and keyframe the rotation. And I want it to go over the course of, how long, 2 seconds? Yeah, we'll try 2 seconds. Well, then I'll just click right here. On the rotation tool, it has this 0x and then plus 0.0 degrees. So that's your degrees. The first one is how many rotations. So I can just go in here and click 1 rotation, and it'll rotate around perfectly 1 time, which is what I want it to do. Now, I want these other ones to follow behind it. When that goes, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frames later, take circle 2, rotation, and let's keyframe that. And this will go to right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bring this back to 0. Oops. Bring this over to 180. And you'll see what happens is it'll follow. And then it'll leave it behind. Okay. Now, 5 frames later, let's keyframe this one. Rotation. 5 frames. 5 frames later, and we'll do the last one. Keyframe that. Okay. And this circle 3 needs to go down here. And then circle 4 will go right there at negative 180 degrees. And so it just kind of makes a trail and leaves them behind. It's a pretty cool effect. So, but of course, everything always looks better with motion blur. Don't forget that. So let's turn them on. You know, I'm going to go ahead and turn them on all the layers because that's what I like to do. And don't forget to turn it on globally. And look at that. Look at them speed around there with super quick motion blur. Okay, so let's keep on. Let's keep on keeping on and get this done. Turn off the motion blur and it'll render faster. Okay, so after that moves around, I want the A to fly in. And that's why I have this A here, so I can have it flying in. So, but I don't want a big black A to fly in. I want it to be just the outline. So how am I going to do that? Well, easy. Let's go to select the layer, click on layer up here, go to layer styles, and do stroke. And that will give an outline to it. Let's adjust this. We'll give it, you know, it doesn't really matter what color. We'll do red. Make it a bigger size. Let's try 35. Let's go 20. Perfect. And okay. So, but with that, I don't want the black to show up. I just want the red outline to show up. And that gets a little bit tricky. So how am I going to do that is I'm going to pre-compose this layer. So Command-Shift-C will pre-compose. A comp will work just fine. And move all the attributes to the new composition. Click OK. Now this is its own composition, and what I'm going to do is use a luma key to key out the black. And so now this is just the outline. And I want this A to fly in over time and then land right here. So I will have it start to fly in. Let's see. Go forward in time, and that's where I want it to end. So I'm going to keyframe the ending of this, but I want it to fly in a 3D space. So I will turn the 3D button on, also motion blur, and let's grab this back in time and bring the A so it is out of the camera view. And there, it's flying in so amazingly. I'm going to add one more effect to this, the color correction tint. I want to add a tint to this. And I will map white to black as well. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to have these all different colors flying in. I'm going to start with one color and then end it. You know, the next one will be a different color, and they'll all be different colors. And I want about, let's say 5, maybe 6 layers flying in. So what I'm going to do is right here where they start to fly in, I'm going to cut this layer so I know where it is. And I'm going to duplicate it, Command D. There's 4 layers, 5, let's do 6. And then I'll just move forward. How many frames? How about 4? And line that up, move forward 4 frames. Line that up. Line it up. And the last one. So what we see here is the A's are going to be flying in one at a time. Now let's adjust the colors on these. Now I want the last one to be red because I have a red circle here. So let's grab this last layer and turn it red. So I want to map the black to that red, and then map the white to that red. Now, one thing I do have though is it comes over the edge here, and I don't want it to do that. So I'm going to mask it. I'm going to grab my mask tool, go to ellipse tool, and I will mask it the same size as the circle. And what we'll see here is it is now just the size. It's not, the edges are cut off, which I don't want the whole time. I just want it like that at the end. So what I'll do is starting about, okay, here's where it lands, and the mask expansion, I will keyframe that. Go back a few frames and expand it out. How many pixels is it going to take? Okay, 100 pixels it looks like. And what that will do is then it'll cut in and land just like that. And when that lands, I want all of these others to be disappeared as well. So at the same time as this mask is expanding out, I'm going to take the rest of these layers, click T for transparency or opacity, keyframe it, go to this keyframe right here, and then bring it all down to 0. And what we'll see here is it'll all kind of come right into that A the way I want it to. But I do want all these different colors, which I started with the A, the last one, but let's change the other ones. So this guy, okay. So let's turn that red circle back off again, and what you can see here is the different colors are flying in. And when the red one hits, the rest of them will kind of disappear. Okay, but at the same time, we also want our red circle here. Turn that back on. Bring up opacity. It's totally transparent, and then we'll go forward in time when the rest of them disappear, and we'll have that one come up to 100%. So as it animates, you can see it kind of, you know, fade in. That's what I want. So it's going to be a long tutorial. Sorry about that. All right. Last thing I want to do is add a little bit more color. So how I'm going to add some more color to this is I'm going to take my circle, my big circle, and my 4 other layers. I'm going to bring those all close together. They can all be right there. And I'm going to precompose them. So it's all one layer. Call this big circle. And what I'm going to do with this is duplicate this some more. Right here where everything lands. Then I'm going to duplicate this. I'll do it 6 layers again. And then this top layer, actually right here, I'm gonna label that top because I want that to stay the same. And these other guys I'm going to color, so I can actually color them the same as I have here. So let's just copy that, paste it on this. So now what I'm going to do is simply just scale this. Take my scale, keyframe it. Let's go 8 frames and bring that up. And that's it. And I can copy these keyframes. We'll separate them by 2 frames. Go on the next one. Paste it into the scale. I totally screwed up, but that's okay, because there's a way around it. So what I did is I have this red one on top, which I don't want. I want it on the bottom, and I want these all to be reversed, except for the one on top. I want it to stay on top. So what you'll see here is they'll grow out. Okay. But I do want one more, because I want it to end on white. So this one I'll map to white in the tint effect. Okay, and so what we'll see is the colors will spread out, but then the last one will be white, which is perfect for our name to reveal. And with the reveal, I will just do a circle mask. Go into my expansion, keyframe that. Bring it down a couple hundred pixels. Go forward a second. Bring this up to 10 pixels, and what will happen is it'll expand and reveal it from the center. And what I can do is I can add a little bit of feather to this, soften it up a little bit. And that's really it. One last thing I do have to do is add a solid. You can see it's still transparent. So let's collapse down these layers so I can see what I'm doing. And add a solid layer. A new solid, just a white layer. Okay, and we will stick it at the bottom. So that's really it. Let's take a look. I'm going to render this out, and so here we have the finished product. I think it turned out pretty good. So I hope this has been a great lesson for you. We went over some good stuff. We talked about pre-composing layers. We talked about layer styles, specifically stroke, the luma key filter, the tint filter, and of course duplicating layers, which we did a lot in this one. So thank you, and tune in for more After Effects lessons.